So we are learning Akkadian, which is the language spoken in the Bronze Age and Iron Age Middle East. We rather call it the Near East. I'm just a student of ancient history. I'm not officially learning Assyriology, but I'm a self-taught student of Akkadian. So today I'm going to teach you some Akkadian as it's going to be like of help to me as well. So this is gonna be like notes from one student to the other. That's how I planned it in my mind. Also, I'm making a great effort preparing some PowerPoint presentations, which is nice. You already know Latin, which is one advantage we have here. You're accustomed to concepts such as masculine, feminine, nominative, genitive, and accusative, but I might like gloss over them quickly. Uh, you don't know any Semitic languages, which is one drawback. This is going to be your first Semitic language, hopefully not the last. So we're gonna begin with the Akkadian noun. The nouns are separated into two genders. Sometimes they have indicators as to which gender it is, but we've got masculine gender and feminine gender. Um, and only three cases or declensions. Nominative, you're already familiar with the nominative. Uh, its purpose is to show which word is doing the action. Uh, it's the standard declension, and its ending is as you can see. This table might seem confusing at first, but for now, we're just going to be dealing with this one. We're going to deal with the duals and the plurals later. So the nominative most basic ending is as you can see. Ilum is the word for God, a God, by the way, not the God. Ilum, uh, and so its ending, you can take it out, you can imagine it as taking it out or replacing the u with e. The genitive form is ilim. The genitive is going to be used for possession, or you're going to bring prepositions such as the English in, at, on, stuff like that. And that's going to be how you do the thing. We're going to see more of that. But the most general meaning is ilim is of the god. Ilum is the god. Ilim is of the god. And accusative, I always keep this in mind with being the in accusative. So ilam is going to be uh, affecting the god. As a quick note to people who don't know what an accusative is, when the verb, the action of the sentence, is affecting an object, if the language has an accusative, you put it in the accusative form. So uh, the god is hovering, let's say, would be ilum. I choose the god would make the word into ilam. The same with sharum. Sharum is the word that means king, the king. Ilum is the god. Sharum becomes sharim, of the king. Affecting the king is sharam. Um, Next slide. We've got the concept of definitiveness in English. Uh, we have the distinction between the god and a god. But Akkadian doesn't have the or a, which means Ilum in and of itself is both the god and a god. Sharrum, similarly, is the king and a king. Marum is the word that means the sun or a sun. And Narum, the river, a river. We are speakers of Turkish, by the way. And so this nar is a long uh, past ancestor of Nehir. You can recognize it like that. Nehir came to be, no, Narum came to be Nehir in our language. Its meaning is the river or a river. Feminine nouns are typically ending with tum or atum. For example, God can be made into goddess by the addition of t inside the ending, iltum, ilum, iltum. That t is indicative of femininity. Uh, if there is a necessity to add like sharrum can't really easily become shartum, so there is an extra sound, making sharrum, the king, into sharratum, the queen. Uh, in marum, there is a possibility of putting T alone. Martum is son or daughter. Marum is son and martum is daughter. Um, so some nouns are indicated by the t or at, tum, atum, but some of them show their femininity by just having their own meaning, such as mothers are feminine by nature. So the word for mother is ummum. It doesn't have a T. It's not umtum, ummatum. It's not one of those, but it's feminine nonetheless. Narum, uh, it doesn't have any indicator and it's not feminine by nature, but it's feminine nonetheless. And this is not going to be common. Only the most common words sometimes have this unnecessary femininity to them. Uh, but it's not going to be much of a problem. Narum, despite not having any indicators, it's feminine. Interestingly, body parts that come in pairs, such as two hands, two ears, two eyes, and two legs, they are seen as feminine, even though they don't have tum or atum endings. Enum is the word for eye, and it's feminine because you've got two of them, and it's a body part. Shepum, uh, this hat, the S with the hat, we read it as sh, even though we might not know for sure that's how it's said. Shepum is the word for foot. This comes from a clay tablet, by the way, and it's feminine. Next concept is, yeah, we're gonna go over some of the declensions. As mentioned, Sharrum, the king, becomes Sharrim, meaning of the king, and Sharram, affect the king. Um, this applies to feminine and uh, there's no neutral. This applies to feminine as well, by the way. There's no difference in im, am. It's always im, am. Don't confuse it with the Latin which is the feminine accusative. These things can be masculine with ending as well. Uh, so I need to draw your attention to the plurals of this. The plural, to make Sharrum, the king, into the kings, you can imagine it as removing or remove the M and lengthen the U. So Sharrum, the king, Sharru, the kings. Uh, Here, there's no difference between genitive and accusative. If you remove and add e, which is shari, it's both of the kings and affect the kings. Sharratum is the word for queen. For feminine ones, you also kind of are familiar with this, thanks to Turkish having an Arabic influence. At is the feminine plural marker or the suffix. So sharratum, the ah is already visible, so you just lengthen the ah. Sharratum means the queens. And also this in the same exact way, there's no difference between genitive and accusative. They both look like genitive, but they're called in the grammar book oblique. So the mixed case, mixed declension. It does look like genitive though. Sharratim is of the queens. Sharratim is of the queen, just one. If it's lengthened, it's of the queens. Uh, iltum, iltum does not have an apparent ah, such as in sharratum, but it appears out of nowhere. Um, and iltum, the goddess, becomes ilatum, the goddesses. In the same way, of the goddesses and affecting the goddesses are the same. They're both ilatim. So now I'm gonna give you a chance to try at declining one of these words. You've got marum, the word that means sun. When you're ready, give me the declension of marum, which is the word for sun, in the genitive. You can copy from here.
Is it marim?
Yes, marim is the word that you would use to mean of the sun, marim. Now do accusative.
Maram.
Yes, maram would be the one for affect the sun. Uh, can you do me sons, as in here?
Maru.
Maru would be the sons or sons. Now, of the sons or affect the sons.
Mari.
Mari, yes, it's elongated. It's not that elongated, but it would pass. So uh, this one is a feminine, if you've noticed, from the T, and I'm just gonna ask you the plurals of that. If iltum becomes ilatum, there's an ah appearing in between. How would you make martum, daughter, into daughters?
Maratum.
Yes, good. Maratum. Now I did it too elongated, but it's not a problem. Maratum would be the word. So maybe I can add maratum. This would be the daughters or daughters. Okay. Now, some important prepositions. Luckily for us, this language has prepositions that do lots of tasks instead of all declensions. It's not all declension based. And interestingly enough, uh, it's unique for Semitic languages for there to be ina and ana to mean in and for. It's usually be and li or something like that. So Akkadian is very unique in that the word that corresponds to English in is ina, and to, towards, and for correspond to ana. In also has these side meanings, which is scary. Ina can mean among, by, like by my hands. I built this house by my hands or with my hands. And sometimes it has the meaning from. Uh, that has a reason. I'm going to get to that. Ana is to, towards, for the sake of, or at. Itti is the word that means with, like accompanying, beside, standing beside someone. Or and also from. This ishtu is actually the word that means from, but from what I can tell, I'm a student, I don't know so much, but from what I can tell, ishtu dissolved its meaning to itti and ina. So it gave its fromness to in and with, such that itti sometimes acts like from. Some examples are good to make this memorable. By the way, plus genitive. Genitive is going to be like an the baseline form for all prepositional phrases, such as ana ilim would mean not to the goddess. I made a mistake. No, no, it's correct. Ana ilim is to the god or for the god. Ina shari is among the kings. So this is the oblique declension. It's both genitive and accusative. Uh, because it has genitive inside, we're using that when coupled with ina. Itti belin. Belum is the word that means Lord. Um, it's also in the Western Semitic languages, there's a god name called Baal. Baal is kind of related to this word in Akkadian. Bel means Lord. Iti belim. Belum, goes away, and im comes, or u changes into i. Okay, keep that in mind. Iti belim, with the Lord. Alum is the word that means city. Ishtu alim, from the city. Now I'm going to pass the microphone over to you one more time. I need you to give me what these would mean. Starting with ina alim. Alum is city. Ina alim would be
Mm, in the city,
in the city. Ana sharrim would be
to the kings,
im is singular. If this m wasn't there, well, in cuneiform it would be different, but this im is singular, so it's to the king,
yes,
or to a king, or for the king, or for a king. Ishtu narim. Do you remember narum?
river,
Yes. So ishtu narim,
from the river,
from the river. Wardum is the word that means slave or servant. Itti wardim,
with the slave.
with the slave or servant. Good. So the determinative pronoun sha, don't be scared by the long word. It's very simple. It's very common. Sha can be translated, mostly translated as of. So in the easy sections, in the easy units, as you're reading through the grammar books, this is going to be the word used for of, mostly to show belonging. Its literal meaning is given as the one of, um, and after sha, there's always genitive declension, as you've seen with ina, ana, ishtu, and itti. So, matum means land and country. Sharrum Shah Matim means the king of the land in the most basic way. Shah doing its duty as of. Sharrum does not get a declension. It's the nominative, the king of the land in the genitive, as you can see with the in. Itti wardim shasharim, with the slave of the king. So in this case, itti, with, makes the wardum into wardim. It makes it genitive. And sha makes sharrum into genitive, with the slave of the king. Ana belim sha'alim. Uh, Ana makes belum into belim, and sha makes alim. Ana belim sha'alim means for the Lord of the city. And now you see one familiar-ish word, I hope. And I'm going to ask you to translate what this Sharrum Shababilim might mean.
The king of Babylon.
Yes, the king of Babylon, or a king of Babylon, is would be the translation here. So this in here is not like for sure genitive, so it's not Babilum in its normal form. This word, the name of the city of Babylon, is always ending with im. Babilum is the only form it has. If it was accusative, something affecting Babylon, it would still be Babilum. It's compounded and it's like solidified in that form. There's no Babilam. There's no Babilum. There's only Babilum.